Welcome back to the Hot Rod Shop for another Walk Around Wednesday. Hey guys, hope everybody's doing good. Welcome back for another one. So we're in the shop today. We're gonna take a little walk around of our 49 Chevy truck that we're working on. We've had a lot of progress happen over the last couple of weeks and we're getting really close to the finish line. So I'm gonna keep you updated as we're getting closer because it's gonna be out of here soon. Make sure to keep checking those Sunday videos because we've got the long videos for a lot of the work and the fab that's actually going into this truck. Also, we've still got a few shirts on the shelf. They are flying out like crazy, but go check those out. Get yourself one. We've got Savvy Mavvy shirts. We've got the In Charge Charger shirts. We've got Superbird shirts, and we've got the traditional Hot Rod Shop shirts with the logo on those. Also, Happy New Year. First shoot of the new year. January 1st today, so we're already in 2025. How crazy is that? Seems like the years just keep getting faster and faster, and the more we work on these vehicles and get deadlines, it ticks away so quick. I can't believe the year's already over, but we're in a new one, so I hope everybody has a great new year. I hope 2025 is really good to you, and we're just gonna keep trying to bring these videos and build these trucks. So, little recap on the 1949 Chevy truck. We built this truck about 15 years ago. We didn't do anything over the top. It was just a really nice build. Low, looked good, no real fab on it. It was just a really super clean truck. When we built it then, we had it on an S10 chassis. So when the owner decided he wanted to go ahead and do a rebuild on this truck and just kind of bring it up to date, we went over to Roadster Shop, we picked up one of their chassis, and that was the main goal, was to get it on a more modern chassis. So as soon as we got it in, we mocked it up, we fit it to the truck. Once we got everything fit, we sent the frame out to powder coat, and we had it all powder coated the two colors that we wanted it to be, which is a charcoal gray and a burgundy color. You can see with the 4-link bars and a lot of the accents, control arms, they're all that color. We did big brakes, so we've got Big Bear brakes with black calipers, red accents on the brakes. We've got drilled and slotted rotors, so this thing should stop really nice. For the suspension, we've got coilovers. They're all color matched as well. Got a 4-link out back. We're trying to do ARP 12-point bolts all the way through the build, body panel, suspension parts, everywhere that we can put those. If we move up front for the brakes, we've got a Wilwood master cylinder up here. I really love these. We do the Wilwoods on a lot of builds. I really like the look of not having the big power booster. And if you've not used one of these, they actually stop really, really nice. To me, they don't feel much different than having that power booster. Got a really good pedal feel, and you can really feel what's going on in the truck when you're driving it. So since we're up front, what we have here is a small block 350 Chevy engine. This was the engine that was originally in this truck when we first built it, but it was black, it was carbureted, we had chrome valve covers. So since we were changing the chassis, we decided to pull the small block out. We color matched the engine to some of the accent colors, that burgundy color. We decided to get rid of the carburetor. We're doing a Speed Tech stacked injection. I've actually never used these guys before, so I'm interested to see how this works. All the control side of it is actually from Tech, so we're familiar with that, so I feel like everything will work really nice. The accessory drive is a March accessory drive, all polished and chromed, and then some of the brackets we color matched to the build. We've got the AC system getting buttoned up right now. For the fuel, we've got all -6 AN lines braided. We've got the Aeromotive fuel regulator, so we can always keep an eye on that. We've got the front cap on it, the radiator, the fan, all that stuff's going in. We're waiting on headlights from Oracle Lighting right now. They're sending us some really cool headlights. I can't wait to get those in. Since we had the truck down doing all that work, we decided, well, if we're gonna do it, it'd be a good time to go ahead and do some exterior modifications. So one of the first things we did was we swapped out the old style 49 Chevy door handles. We installed some Ken Diggett handles. I really love the look of these. We've done them in a few builds. I'll say the only thing about those handles in this truck is when we talked to the guys over there and we were getting those handles, they didn't think they had sold a set of these handles to go in one of these particular trucks. I don't know if that's actually the case or not, but for the most part, when we install these, we've got them in the OBS, we've got them in a few other builds. They're fairly simple to install. Obviously some metal fabrication, we've got to cut out the door, get all that TIG welded and finished out. But making these actually work, they come with a couple of different style brackets where whether you either have a push or a pull, however that door mechanism opens, but there was no good way to make them work in here. So we actually had to build a rod that would run from the handle out to the latch mechanism itself. So that took a little work to get that going in this truck if you're doing one on these. But other than that, they're all pretty straightforward, and it's really hard to beat the look. Super slick. I love getting them really flat because when you look down the truck, they almost just disappear. So that was one of the modifications that we did to the cab. The front end is pretty much the same. Running boards, we kept the same. And for the rear, this is where a lot happened. So we knew we wanted to change it up. We had the bed off of it. It was something we could go ahead and start working. So we drew up what we wanted to see. We thought we wanted like a split bumper style roll pan rear end. The problem with the roll pans on a lot of these trucks is that they're really boxy, they're tall, they're flat, and that's not what we wanted. So we ended up building this roll pan. We got a nice curved transition in it where it meets the bottom of the fenders. We ran flush style taillights. We've got those really flat with it where they disappear. And then for the bumper, we started with a 68 Camaro bumper. We had one laying around. It looked like it would fit it nice, so we initially started with doing just a tucked bumper into the truck, and then we started thinking about a split bumper. So we got it fit up to the shaved tailgate, which is all welded in. We started making mounts, we got it how we liked it, and then we capped the ends, and there's a lot of work in those bumpers to make them look how they are right now and fit the truck that nice. Once we did that, we decided to redesign the stake pockets, so I've showed that a couple of times now. Those look really nice coming down into the bumper. And then we teardropped the bed rails, so that comes off the top of the tailgate, just kind of curves that bed rail, and then we shaved the stake pockets. And as we go down the bed rail, we did the same thing. These run in this direction, so they kind of curve the cab. Now the bed's still got to move forward about an inch, so that's going to tighten up a little bit. And then we also did the stake pockets the same way in the front. Once we got into the bed, due to the Roadster Shop chassis and everything sitting a lot lower, we had to build a bed frame. So we built the bed frame. That's where the wood sits on top of it. All the original mounting positions we were able to use. And then we took exterior fenders off the bed, cut them down, reshaped them a little bit, and made those the inner fenders. So when the wood sits in here, looks really good, has a nice flow, and as you look down the truck, it's got the same look on both sides. So I think that looks really cool. For the interior, we've got pretty much everything done. We're waiting to get the cab and the bed positioned exactly where it's gonna be so we can bolt the cab down, foam the floor, and get the carpet done. We're using Apex square weave carpet in this, so we'll bind all the edges in leather. Should look really nice. It'll follow the doors, have a few different pieces in there, make it look really custom. Another thing we did in the engine compartment area is we're running a coil and an MSD box for that distributor that's in there. And what we did with that, we were actually able to mount all of that under the dash. So that gets that out of the engine compartment, gets all that wiring under the dash so we can hide all of that. So really happy with how everything's coming together. We've still got a long way to go, but now it's just that assembly thrash. So parts are going on it as long as we don't run into any issues. We've got fuel pump, all the wiring is done now. So we're ready to fire it up. So I'm hoping maybe first of next week, we'll fire it up, make sure everything's good, because we did swap the heads and just a couple of other little things, so we got to make sure everything's happy. We also got the exhaust back. We got rid of all the welds. We really smoothed it out, and then we sent the exhaust off for it to be polished. So that's going to look really kick-ass on the truck. one other thing we changed that looks really nice, and I like using their hinges, is these are Eddies Motorsports hood hinges. You can see polished aluminum in there, gas shock now. So I figured what I would do is show you something that we ran into. So if you've worked on one of these before and you're adjusting the hood, you know, you've got one other guy, maybe a couple of guys, and you're trying to get this bolted on, a lot of times that's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So when we got to this button head bolt right here, you can see how close that is to the firewall. You can't get a socket in there, or a socket and a ratchet together, because you're into the firewall. You can't get a T-handle type Allen in there, because that's obviously way too long for that. So you sit here and you have to fight with it. So let me show you what we've got from Vim Tools that made this super easy. So this is a couple of kits from Vim Tools. This is the FRBB 34 kit and the VHC 77 kit. Now this is a Torx bit set, but what's really cool about these, especially when we're working in a spot like I was just showing you, is these are super shallow. I think they're 5/8 of an inch. So they're super short. So in this FRBB 34 kit, they have these ball style hex. So what's great about those is if you get in a button head and you need a little bit of an angle, these will actually pivot in that a little bit and give you a little more angle. But what I like the most about this kit is this guy right here. So what's cool about this, and this is why I like Vim Tools so much, every tool seems to have so much versatility. So we could obviously use this as a ratchet, but you see that white dot right there? If we line that white dot up with the marks that's on this extension, we can actually make this a T-handle. Now that won't work in the situation we're in at the moment, but it's just really cool to have that option. So if we don't line that dot up, then we've got an extension for our ratchet. Or we can take that shallow Torx bit, pop it right in there, and look how shallow that is. So that makes it super easy to get into those really tight spots that you're having to fight with, because typically, if you don't have these tools, you're gonna get in there with one of these guys and you're just doing one little turn at a time and it's taking forever. Everybody's holding the hood. You're trying to hold the thing up with your head and you're breaking your neck. So that was one thing that we ran into that I remembered I definitely wanted to show you guys, because man, that's why I love Vim Tools so much and why we have so many of their tools here, because we always get into those situations where we're in an engine compartment, everything's really tight, it's hard to get to, and they seem to be the only tool company that I have in this shop that always is able to get on something that we can't get on. So anyway, great tools. Check those guys out, especially if you're working in an engine compartment doing some tight spots like that. So what we're working on now to actually get it finished up over the next couple of weeks is we're waiting on some power steering lines. We can get the power steering finished up and then we can completely assemble the front cap. Waiting to get the cab bolted down. We can finish the carpet at that point, so that's coming. And I'm working on the bed wood right now to start getting it ready to go in here. So there's a lot of little things to do on the checklist, but those are the big ticket items. We've got it looking like a truck now, so it's super exciting. I hope you guys like this one. This has been a lot of fun to build. Definitely doing all the metal fab that we changed on it. Totally changed up the looks of this truck. Super happy with how it's turning out. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching. As always, go pick up a t-shirt. I've got the link in the description below. We've got quite a few to choose from. And I guess we'll see you Sunday.